And welcome inside another edition, Justin Ayers Baseball Pod, coming with back at you. My guy Tucker Hickman is here. We're here talking ball as we do on a monthly basis. We don't plan on it to be a monthly thing, but it just ends up being a monthly thing. It's always great talking ball with my guy Tucker. How we doing?
Doing good. It's always good to be back. I think the monthly episodes are good because it gives us a crap ton to talk about every time we
I,
catch up.
I always enjoy putting together a prep sheet for these things. It's kind of a change of pace. It's like some MLB news. A lot of the stuff we do and I do now is just mostly interviews, so it's like cool to get the news out. But I always find myself coming back. I don't know if I do this on purpose or whatever. It's just like we're gonna be talking about the Royals, so just I don't know why.
We're
There's gonna be
we're
some
going with the
Royals talk.
hits. We're going
Yep,
with the hits.
play the hits.
80s Joel.
Joel. We're gonna start though. The talk of baseball right now is this realignment. So Commissioner Rob Manfred went on the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball broadcast, stoked the flames of expansion talk on Sunday night. He said there's gonna be two teams. If they add them, it would give the league an opportunity to geographically realign. Jeff Passan said the likeliest expansion cities are Nashville in the east and Salt Lake City in the west. Charlotte, Raleigh, and Portland are also floated out as other names of cities that could be getting an MLB expansion team. Baseball, I feel like is the one of those sports that like we don't take change very well. Like it's taken a lot for me to accept like the bigger bases, the pitch clock, and all that stuff. But how do you think a geographic realignment and possibly getting rid of AL NL would go over?
It's cool for Salt Lake City. The Mormons love their baseball, I hear. Yeah, I kind of feel that. I feel like I'm kind of stuck in my ways, especially I heard him talking about getting away with from the whole AL NL. And then I'm just thinking in my head, like, how is that going to affect, records, AL MVPs, Cy Youngs? Like, I, I don't love it, but what I would like for the realignment like that, I think that will create better regional rivalries. So I think that's kind of cool to create new rivalries. So I'm open to it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still baseball.
Well, that's true, but I am a purist. I would like to keep some of the old rivalries intact, like Cubs Cardinals, like taking the if you I saw one, maybe it was the Athletics like proposal where they took the Atlanta Braves out of the East and put them in like the South cluster or whatever. It's like I would like to still see like the Phillies Braves, Mets Braves, like some of these rivalries that have been built up just because the teams have been good at the same times. I want those to continue. You can't get rid of AL
Yeah.
NL though. That's like I'm gonna make January 6th look like a tea party if they get rid of AL NL.
Make it look like a walk in the park. Yeah, I agree. Like with the pre-existing rivalries, like putting the Atlanta Braves like a Southern cluster, like I don't see it getting to the point where it's like, oh, the Atlanta Braves and the Tampa Bay Rays are diehard rivals. It's not the same as like you said them playing the Phillies or the Mets or something like that.
Pittsburgh and like the East Northeast cluster would be good though. I would like that.
Yeah, get to see like Paul Skeens pitch against the Yankees more. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So like I'm okay with some change. You just can't. I'm glad they're getting this out now, so I'm able to get these fiery takes off about this about how much I hate it now. Whereas in 3 years I might have cooled by then. But um, my thing though is that like we see so often, it's like in the NFL whenever they're like, oh, we should have more teams. It's like there's like 10 good quarterbacks in the NFL. There's like the same thing with baseball where there's not that much good pitching. Like there's not like there's only a few teams that have figured out how to do pitching well, and if we just add more teams, are we going to be seeing more crappy baseball?
Yeah, I feel like that too. And honestly, I mean, division wise, currently everything is kind of already regionally aligned. Like, I don't think how many more changes can you make? Like, you remember back in the day when the Astros used to be in like the NL Central? Like, that
Yeah.
was weird. So I feel like now, I mean, they're in a pretty good spot. Like, seems a bit drastic to me. And again, I think about it more for like the history of it, the awards. Like, if you do away with divisions and AL, NL altogether, do you have like two MVPs, two Cy Youngs? Do the MVPs now mean more since it's only one being given out by one for AL and NL?
That's why I don't think that's a great reason why I don't think that'll change the AL NL format. Like you can just keep that. You can mess with the divisions. Like the Pirates changed divisions to the Central, I think in '93, whenever they added like Miami, like they put Pittsburgh
Yeah.
in the Central as opposed to the East. Um, but if you have 32, you get that nice like 8 divisions, 4 in each. It's like a nice even cluster type thing. That is funny though. When the Astros were just like, there was 6 teams in one division, I think, and then
Yeah.
there's 4 in the other.
I'd be curious to see too, like with MLB contemplating this, does like the Players Association get any kind of, feedback into the process, or is their opinion heard on this? And I'd be curious to see what they feel about it.
Could this be good for some of those veteran free agents that always complain that no teams want to sign them? But now with extra teams, there's a better chance that, they won't sit out in free agency until March and have to settle for a 1 year deal.
And maybe, I mean, the it'll eventually catch up. Like after these teams, the expansion teams get added, I'm sure after a couple years it'll just be normalized and it'll kind of be the same as it is now.
Justice for 30-plus-year-olds as somebody who will be 30 next year.
Yeah, like Noah Syndergaard needs a team again.
No, he doesn't. He thought that's it. No more Noah.
Yeah, mentally he sound cooked in that interview with Foul Territory the other day. Feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great run. Just go figure out the next chapter. There's always insurance. That's always a great fallback for former athletes.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk. I don't know how I keep coming back to them. I can't quit them. It's like the X I just can't get over. It's the Kansas City Royals. We're gonna be talking to the Royals again. So MLB Central did a great breakdown of this the other morning. I'm fascinated by this team and where they're at in the standings. So let's take you way back. July 2nd, Royals were 7 under 500. They're 40-47. Now they're 65-61, and they're 2.5 out of a wild card spot. Do you like the way the Royals have been playing, and do you think they have enough juice to squeak in there?
Well, even like back we talked about them last time, like I think they have the juice to squeak in there just based off of their pitching staff alone. And that's what we said last time. Like if they get any kind of offense, they can make it. The only issue is Bobby Witt still having a really good year, but I mean compared to what he did last year, where he was MVP runner up, was he not?
Yes, he was runner up to MVP last year.
No ball.
Yeah, somebody knows ball.
He had a
Jamie
really good
Polo.
average last year in homers. Let's not look at his, yeah. Let's not look at his, advanced metrics because I don't discuss those. Um, but yeah, like if they keep getting offense, they can definitely make it with that pitching staff. And Reagan isn't even back, but then he just came back. He's been out, so I mean, I think they got a shot.
Here's why I'm buying the Royals offensively, because I went and I looked at some of these numbers. Since August 1st, they are 6th in WRC plus. They are 8th in average, and they are 8th in home runs. So something's changed since August 1st. Some of the guys they picked up, like Yastrzemski, he's been batting leadoff, has been killing it. How about our guy Adam Frazier? Since they picked him up mid-July, he's slashing 316, 349, 456.
The only thing that kind of concerns me for some of those players is like, is that really sustainable? Like, we know what Adam Frazier is now. I watched him in Baltimore. He's not that. He's not that
Doesn't
guy.
matter. Does it have to be sustainable? They need him for the rest of the, it's mid-August or it's almost September now. Just keep swinging it. That doesn't have to be like a, multi-year, like he's not going to be hitting 300 for the rest of his career, or he could. He's a high average guy. They're getting juice out of these guys at the right time. It's like the Brewers. They're hot at the right time.
Yeah, and if I think they can just, keep this up for another month, they probably squeak into a wild card spot. The bullpen's decent enough. The rotation's very solid, so definitely got a shot.
But you're right about the pitching. It's like they have the 4th best team ERA in baseball. We've been saying this all year. It's kind of like, it's almost like the Pirates in a way, where it's like the Pirates have always had great pitching. They've never had offense. Now the Royals offense is finally catching up some of these elite pitching arms they have. So I'm riding, man. I'm drinking the blue Kool-Aid. I think the Royals they're easily going to get a wild card spot, in my opinion.
Royals country, let's ride.
Let's talk. You brought this up to me the other day when we were talking about topics for the show. Teams post trade deadline. So this trade deadline this year is probably one of the most active in recent memory. Locked in all day long. Had MLB Network on. They had this like buzzer net sound whenever a trade came through. It was just on repeat, burned in my brain. So I wanted to check in on some of the teams that did a lot of moves at the deadline and see if they're hot or not. Um, we'll start with the not. Let's talk about the New York Mets. So in August, since the deadline, they were 5-11. They picked up Soto, Rogers, and Helsley for the pen. Our guy Cedric Mullins for center field. They lost 7 in a row this month. That was great. They got swept by Cleveland and Milwaukee. Um, Helsley especially has been terrible. Like he has, I think he has 3 blown saves and a loss. Not great.
Yikes. Yeah, the the Mets definitely a very active team. Not looking so good after the All Star break, but I don't think it's really as a result of the deadline moves. I think they're honestly just slumping. Like of all the teams, they kind of went for it at the All Star break or at the trade deadline that are kind of slumping. Honestly, the Mets are one of the ones that I'm kind of least concerned about because I do think they have like a pretty good all around team. Like obviously you have superstars in the lineup. The rotation I think could give them some problems once they get into the playoffs, but of all the teams, I'm honestly really not that concerned about the Mets.
Interesting. It is
Yeah.
funny whenever they pick up a relief pitcher, when any team picks up a relief pitcher at the deadline, it's like you're supposed to be perfect. You're not supposed. We brought you here for a reason. We need you to fix whatever's wrong, which is usually like a bad bullpen. It's like, all right, we'll fix it. And then it's like they have a couple bad outings. It's like, well, this guy's a bust. I knew we should have picked him up. It's like, well, he's Helsley's still an elite like back end reliever. Like just because he had a couple
Yeah.
bad ones in a row.
Yeah. I mean, it's an adjustment, new city. It can take some time. Like while we're on New York, like, because the Yankees have also struggled pretty heavily after the deadline, and they made some big moves, obviously. McMahon, you got an entire bullpen. Duvall, Bird,
Bednar.
Bednar. Comparing them to, I'm more worried about the Yankees because you just like look at the way they play. They're a sloppy team, bad base running mistakes, a ton of errors. Like that's like a systematic thing. Whereas I think the Mets, they're built more to win. I think I'd be more concerned about the Yankees if I was a fan of them.
Yankees 8-8 since the deadline. Yeah, you're right. Jake Bird pitched so bad. How crappy does that have to feel if you're Jake Bird? It's like it's a roller coaster. It's like, yes, I'm going from the worst team in baseball to a team that's going to be in the playoffs. I'm killing it, and then you get sent down to AAA. It's like that's
At the
just
same time, like the Yankees had to know what they were getting with. He walked away from baseball for a bit because he was like had mental health stuff. He legit had the yips, like could not throw strikes. So he's always had control issues. Like the Yankees knew the risks with acquiring someone like that. I think they were really banking on Bednar and Doval. And you follow the Pirates closely. You know Bednar over the last couple of years has not been like, your 2021 David Bednar. Doval, though, I'm not concerned about him. Like I've seen him pitch enough in San Fran. Like he's legit.
yeah.
I
I
do
mean,
think McMahon's a good upgrade for him at third too, like defensively, offensively. But it's just overall, just the way they play, that like homer nothing mentality. It all showed in last year's World Series. All the issues, all that stuff is still in the team.
got Aaron Boone still there for some reason. We could have an entire podcast about just the woes of the Yankees. Jazz Chisholm
Yeah,
getting doubled off first base, base running
and like
errors.
Stanton's playing great right now, but when's he going to pull a hammy again? Probably next week.
The clip of him
So
running to first base full speed though.
yeah, my 3-year-old could run faster, I believe.
just just the slowest waddle. I have we talk about teams that are killing it, teams that aren't killing it. How about the Padres just being I think I'm putting them in the killing it category. They're 10-7 in the month of August. Mason Miller, O'Hearn, Laureano, Freddie Fermin, Nestor Cortez. I mean, AJ Preller, we've talked about him before. He's a rock star. He's my favorite GM in baseball. I'll say that like the 3-game sweep that they just had, they lost 300 runs against the Dodgers. Not great. I think they're 2 back of them in the division right now. That probably you like to have some of those back. Yeah, they're 2 back as we talk about this right now on Wednesday night. But some of the additions though, Ramon Laureano. Have you seen like he's just like he just looks like a Padre. He's like gritty. He's batting 317, 4 bombs. Like they crushed it with him.
Yeah, watching him play in Baltimore this year, I was like, where is this coming from? Like, because when you think of Ramon Laureano, you think of the insane throws he's made from the outfield back in his Oakland days, now just the Athletics. But you never really think of him as like an offense first guy. But this year, offensively, he's crushing it. And yeah, I think he fits in perfectly with the Padres. Another guy who came over from Baltimore, O'Hearn, that gives you great depth there. A lot of different options. You can put him in the outfield, put him at first, DH him, do whatever. The Padres, the moves they made were incredible. Anytime you trade a number three prospect in baseball for a closer, it's going to raise some eyebrows, but I'm all for it.
Miller hasn't been bad. Yeah, I mean, like Freddie Fermin, like these moves, they hit on most of them. Nestor Cortez, I think, got shelled the other day, so that probably was an L. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I'm buying. I'm riding the Padres. I think they're going to come back and get the Dodgers in the East. How about the
they
Phils?
upgraded every trade they made.
Yep.
Real quick on the Padres, like they upgraded at every position they needed to. Like that's what you wanted to at the deadline. And the things that were to get, like their bullpen, they didn't need Mason Miller. Their bullpen's already insane. So small victories and positions you need to get better at, and then play to your strengths and get even better at the stuff you're already great at. So I mean, that's a good formula. It seems like.
No doubt. Let's talk. Let's keep it in the NL. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Phillies. I've blown your phone up. I'm just riding with the Phils now. I'm drinking the red Kool-Aid in the National League. The moves they made at the deadline were fantastic. Obviously, the big one was Johan Duran. Also added Harrison Bader for the outfield mix. 12-6 in the month of August. Duran, 6 games, 0 runs allowed. It's crazy that like for all of this year, what was their biggest weakness? Back end of the bullpen. Jordan Romano, just 7 ERA, bringing his gas can out to the mound every single night. Now they fixed it with one move. Yeah, they had to give up some guys, but I think they're set, man. I look at this team. I don't see. Well, there's another thing we could talk about, but as they're currently constructed, I think they're pretty good.
We were talking about this before we started too. Like over the last couple of years, the Phillies have just felt like they have sort of the best chemistry in baseball. Like I remember when Harper used to kind of be like, it kind of seemed like nobody really liked him. You know, it's kind of a diva, but it seems like everybody loves him now. Obviously, like I've never heard anyone say anything other than like raving reviews for Kyle Schwarber. Dude just sounds like the best teammate ever. Like the Phillies just feel like they have the best chemistry in baseball.
Oh yeah, bring Schwarber back. Pay Schwarber his money. Dude's got 43 bombs and 103 RBIs this year. Pay him his money.
I think they're one of the deepest teams, and getting Duran in the bullpen now. The dude's a freak. Like you, and think about it in the playoffs, you might be facing him like in the eighth and ninth inning, depending on the situation. He can come in for 2 out saves. Like, yeah, no thanks. I don't want that. Dude's throwing like 95 mile per hour splitters. No, thank you. I don't want that.
I don't want that. The only I had to stop myself there because like, as they were constructed before injuries, they didn't really have a weakness. Well, they potentially could have one now. Zack Wheeler had surgery to remove a blood clot in his right shoulder, TBD on his return. Anytime you hear blood clot removal, that's like life threatening. So like this is bigger than just like, oh, he might miss a couple weeks or whatever. It's like this is some serious stuff for an older guy. The loss of Wheeler though, can they withstand with some of the rotation options they have right now, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Like, you look at their rotation now, I'd say it's pretty comparable to like teams who've made it all the way to the World Series in the past. Like when the Rangers won it, their rotation was nothing. And similarly, like the Diamondbacks who they played that year, I mean, they had Gallen, Kelly was pitching well, Fott pitched well in the playoffs, but like their rotation wasn't anything special. I think you still have guys, Nola can show up for a big game. You got Suarez, you got Sanchez. Like they got some dudes who I think can give you a decent amount of innings in the playoffs and pitch pretty well.
I'm with you on Nola. Right now, he's god awful. He's 1-7 with a 7 ERA. So he's going through the toughest stretch of his career. But in the
Yeah,
postseason, the guy's a dog. Like October baseball, I bet my life on an Aaron Nola quality start.
yeah, that's the thing.
Sanchez,
You just never know
yeah,
when he could like just show up and just pitch you a gem. Like
exactly.
it's in there
Um,
somewhere.
yeah, it's just not right now. But come October, I'd still put him in there for like a game 3. Um, Sanchez, though. Christopher Sanchez is one of my favorite stories in baseball. 2.45 ERA, 5.9 WAR. Guys, like, I feel like he came out of nowhere just because he's not necessarily like a big name. But if you watch some of his starts, like his changeup is unhittable.
And he pitched really well last year too. He totally got snubbed at the All Star break with Mizorowski getting in over him. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to complain about that. But totally should have been an All Star. Has been pitching lights out. It's a good story. Good for him. And he flew under the radar in a rotation that's already got Wheeler, Suarez, all that.
Rangers still there. Rangers still killing it. Taijuan Walker's got a 2.97, and since the All Star break, Rangers got a 3.5 WAR this year. They still got Andrew Painter down in the minors. They didn't trade him. They ended up trading Mick Abel instead this year. But yeah, I'm not worried about the Phillies rotation at all. I think the whole season they were trying to figure out because they were like, all right, Taijuan Walker can pitch it out of the bullpen for a while. They had too many starters. So I think they were built to withstand even a Wheeler caliber guy going down.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. Right now, it's projected what Wheeler is going to be out a couple weeks.
No,
Maybe he comes back. I thought it was initially listed as just a couple weeks.
I think it's, well, I don't know. Well, off the TBD about that because I have to. Jamie, you'll have to look that up for us, but I'm pretty sure it's like a long term thing.
Hopefully, ideal scenario, he could at least make it back, for the playoffs, and we just can hope that maybe he can just pick up right where he left off. Who knows?
Exactly. I had a lot of Orioles stuff, so
There is a
buckle
lot to
up.
talk about.
There's so much to talk about with the Baltimore Orioles. We'll try to condense it so this isn't a 4-hour Joe Rogan episode. Um, here's a couple thoughts. So Samuel Basallo comes up, Dylan Beavers comes up, like one day after each other, so they can keep their eligibility status for next year. I just like say what you want about the Orioles, but like they find and develop hidden position player. Like that's just like you look at their core. Their core is built so soundly through draft and through signings. Like they can figure out how to get some bats in there, which is kind of a nice feeling. But what have you thought so well about Samuel and the Beeve?
So I've been watching them closely, as I do with any big Orioles prospect that gets caught up. I remember watching Gunnar, like 3 Septembers ago when he got caught up, and then Adley before him, all that. The thing that gives me a little bit of optimism for Samuel and Dylan, when you watch dudes like Kobe Mayo and Jackson Holiday come up, initially before they eventually both got sent back down, they looked completely lost at the plate. I think Jackson's first stint in the majors, I want to say he was striking out at like a 47% clip. I mean, Mayo's still batting 203, so I mean, who knows if he'll figure it out. But just watching the at bats, like Basallo and Beavers both look comfortable at the plate. They're laying off the balls, swinging at pitches that they can do damage on. Like, I don't even care about the results. That's what gives me the most optimism. They look like they're more big league ready.
I completely agree. So yeah, Samuel is 3 for 9. The Beeve is 4 for 11. I'm just gonna keep calling him the Beeve. I think that's a cooler nickname. The Beeve is 4 for 11. Basallo is the first homegrown international player to come up and debut for the O's since Jonathan Scope. I'm just glad that they're finally like for so many years under Dan Duquette, like they just didn't do anything internationally. Like there's like a 5-year stretch there where just nothing's coming in other than from like the regular draft year. So I like that. Somebody also tweeted that Samuel is not a Boris client. So this would seem to me to be like a perfect guy if old Mike Elias is listening to be a great extension candidate. I don't see why we wouldn't extend him at this point.
Well, it seems kind of like the Orioles have no interest in signing any of their young guys long term, so we will see. I'm a big fan of the Atlanta Braves model, lock your guys
Yeah.
up early, and I wish we would do some more of that. I think dudes like Westberg, really good candidate. You said Basallo. Gunner, I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried he might be wearing some pinstripes or Dodger blue in a couple years. So I just want to see us lock our players up long term.
I mean, like, how about like a Jackson Merrill? Like, I mean, he took what was it, 8 or 9 years for like 100 mil, give or take. Like, that's These are
Yeah,
great deals.
you look at the deals like the dudes like Merrill got, Corbin Carroll got, even Bobby Witt to an extent. It was like what 10 years, 300 million, somewhere around that range. But at the end of the day, those are all like super team friendly deals. But then you run the risk too on the flip side of look at that contract Michael Harris got, and now struggling heavily. So I see the pros and cons of it, but I think if you got a guy you believe in, you got to risk it. You know,
Especially if especially if Samuel is taking these incredible at bats. Like that's a skill that you can strike out a lot. You can have some bad defense or whatever, but like your eye at the plate, I feel like that's just something that'll always stick around. Um, Here's something else I had. We texted about this the other day. Dylan Beavers just being like not as heralded of a prospect. I feel like he obviously was one of their top guys and came up but I was reading like 2024 he had to figure it out in Double A. He kind of lost it. He was like a 240 hitter in Bowie. He told like teams at the scouting combine that like his swing is still a work in progress, but like give me time, which I thought was interesting. Like, hey guys, right now I'm not killing it. Like, I don't know if you really lead with that, but is he going to be like the kind of guy that's like a savior or maybe Dan O'Dowd uses the phrase aircraft carrier? Is he one of those guys for us?
no, I don't think he's one of those kind of guys. I think Beavers has the potential to kind of be like a Jordan Westberg type player. Like, I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he could be like just a really solid dude that could be a big part of like winning teams in the future.
Okay.
He's
Yeah, I
not
wouldn't.
gonna.
Yeah, he's not going to be like perennial all-star like everybody in the world's talking about and buying his jersey. Probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Beav and Sammy are also the last two of the Orioles' top prospects to come out of the rebuilding era. Everybody else in their top 30, for the most part, came after 2023 when they started drafting later and later. Um, this is, again, we've talked about this before, but like some of their recent draft picks, I'm sure Vance Honeycutt's a great guy, but he has 4 bombs and 150 strikeouts in A-ball this year. So it
I
remains to be
haven't.
seen how Mike drafts post picking high.
Yeah, the honeycomb one is really concerning. Like that dude at North Carolina, playing a couple hours from me down here, so I'm very familiar with him. Like the dude was a monster, just hit bombs, and then it's like it's a single eight. The dude is just lost. Dude is just lost. Might be a lost cause.
There's a lot of swing and miss in his game at North Carolina too, if I remember correctly. But that was overshadowed by the fact he was just hitting tanks. Um,
Yeah, I am curious to see though. Like I think the Orioles had a phenomenal draft this year.
okay,
I know we wanted some pitchers in the draft, early. They used their first 4 picks all on hitters, but of the hitters we got, like I am really excited about them.
okay. So this kind of you're not as out on Michael Elias picking later in the drafts because like it's pretty easy if you have the number one pick in the draft to like unless you're the Nationals to like take a good player. Like it's hard to miss at the top.
Yeah, even like a dude like Enrique Bradfield that he got from Vandy. Like his stolen base numbers in the minors are insane.
Yeah.
At the very worst with him, like you at least have a dude who can play incredible defense in the outfield and steal you a crap ton of bases. So his floor is like a Billy Hamilton.
I watch a lot of Rays games. Chandler Simpson finally figured out he's finally a high average guy. He's a over 300 hitter with that speed. Not a whole lot else. The on base and the average almost are identical. So, but you'll take 300 with a bunch of steals if we can get that at Enrique Bradfield.
Yeah,
Um,
someone just causing just havoc on the base
yeah,
paths. That's cool. Every team should
Felix.
have one of those.
Yeah, Felix Bautista. He underwent surgery to repair a torn rotator cuff. I just almost had a Baltimore accent come through there.
Rotator.
Rotator cuff. Um, Torn rotator cuff, torn labrum in his right shoulder. He's going to miss the next 12 months. Um, this is troubling. This is not good.
Yeah, I think he's Dunzo as the closer in Baltimore. You're not going to bounce back from 2 major arm surgeries in like 3 years and be the same. I think it's time to start looking at other closer options, which for this free agency class is good. There's going to be a ton of them out there.
Bring Craig Kimbrell back.
Oh dear God.
They need so many relievers. Like I know their current bullpen is it's like a trial period. It's just like, all right, what do we have? And some have been good. Dietrich Ends, dog. I want him long term. Some have not been good. But you need like four more guys. And now probably more than that now that Bautista is gone for basically all of next year.
They have nobody in that pen for next year. Yennier Cano, former All Star, has like a damn near 6 ERA.
We ruined him.
There's a couple guys that have looked somewhat good. Garcia, the Stroud, Cade Stroud, he's looked decent ERA. But yeah, like this offseason, if we do not want another repeat of 2025, like you are going to have to sign probably at least 4 to 5 guys for that pen.
They don't come cheap. Although we did, Andrew Kittredge, 1 year, 10 mil. That's a very not Orioles move because for so long it's like, oh, we're not spending money on relievers, and then we randomly just spent 10 mil on a guy for a year. So maybe we can keep that going.
Yeah, I mean, he's a veteran, older pitcher. He's going to command that kind of money. You can probably go out there and find some younger guys who are kind of under the radar, lower value, who could provide you decent numbers. So maybe sign a couple of those, then sprinkle some money, throw some money to closer, a setup guy, and bullpen. You can quickly overhaul a bullpen, I feel like.
Nationals 2019, they did it at the deadline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could do something similar to that. I'm more concerned about the rotation for next year because I'm telling you, I just have a weird feeling like it's going to be 2025 part 2.
Well, one last thing on the bullpen, though. I think you have your closer already on this team, and I think he's coming back from injury right now. I think that's Tyler Wells. I think for so long, like he had that really good start. He had a really good first half a couple years ago as a starter, and then it all kind of fell apart. He had like arm fatigue, and he was like dead arm or something. So, but when he came back in 2023 as a reliever in September, he had 5 scoreless innings and a save. And I've always
Yeah.
heard he's got the makeup, and like he was a reliever, I think. Why
Yeah,
not
he was.
let
I think
him?
he was a converted reliever.
Yeah, why not give him an extended run when he comes back this year in some high leverage spots? See if he can stick with it. He's got the stuff for it.
Yeah, when Bradish and Wells comes back, and I think Bradish actually just made his final rehab start tonight. Them numbers ain't looking good, so we'll see how that goes. But Bradish definitely going to stay in the rotation. But from everything I've been seeing, I think Wells is going to be more of a bullpen guy. Maybe some spot starts here and there, emergency type situation.
Nothing wrong
But
with that.
yeah, Wells. I mean, yeah, I think Wells could definitely, if he moves to the pen, earn that closer spot. He's got the stuff.
2021, he 44 appearances out of the bullpen, 4 saves.
Yep.
He's done it. Um, I saw this stat. Somebody tweeted it out, and this just like, if you really want to feel like shit as an Orioles fan, it was since May 24th. So that was when Trevor Rogers came up and debuted. And it's been really, really great since then. The Orioles have gone 43-34. That's a 90-win pace if that was played out for the rest of the season. That was the third best record in all of baseball since that date. But before that, up until May 23rd, they had went 16-33, and that was the third worst record in baseball. So it has been a roller coaster ride of a season. The linchpin to all that, the guy who changed it all. It's like when Adley came up in 22. It's been the Trevor Rogers has been just like that's the date the Orioles became good again. But it just kind of got me thinking, like, man, if we could just kind of figure it out in that first like month and a half, we would be in a whole different spot. We'd still have O'Hearn, still have Laureano, the whole band would still be together. So that just made me feel like shit. I just want to make you feel like that a little bit too.
I feel like that every day watching the Orioles, but it's literally encapsulating that saying you hear all the time. It's like you can't win it in April and May, but you can definitely lose it
Yeah.
in April and May, and that's what the Orioles done this year. I mean, none of their hitters were hitting. Gunnar was out to start the year. The pitching was horrendous. Thank you, Mike Elias. But yeah, Trevor Rogers definitely seems to have provided a spark. I mean, he's on like a generational type run right now. What he is doing is insane. And it's not like, I mean, we've seen the pitching breakdowns on him. He's pumping 94. There's nothing special about what he's doing. Dudes just aren't hitting him. I don't understand it.
A couple weeks ago, Lance Brosdowski, pitching expert, pitching guru, he was like, the velo's up. That's all I can really tell that's different. So, like, I don't, his stuff isn't that great. But yeah, if you just go back to that first month of April, man, that first month of the year, here's some of the ERAs from some of the guys in the rotation. Morton, 9.45, Dean, 7, Povich, 5. So, like, if we just had roughly league average, doesn't even have to be like upper echelon type pitching. If we just had guys pitching like they had their whole careers in the first month and a half of the season, man. Or how about this one? I had this thought earlier. Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty signed a 2-year, $35 million deal with the Tigers. I was at a point where I wanted him back. I don't know if he would have liked to have come back, but instead of spending that money on Morton and Sagano, how about Jack Flaherty? I mean, his numbers in the first couple months of the season would have been way better than those guys.
Yeah, the way the pitching staff has pitches here, especially at the beginning of the year, it just kind of makes you reflect on all the opportunities we missed. Because, like, if you remember, the Orioles were heavily tied to Crochet and could have gotten him, but I think at the time, like, they refused to give up Kobe Mayo for Garrett Crochet. Now, Crochet is a Cy Young candidate. Mayo's batting 203. That's where I wish, Elias had more of that Preller mindset where it's like, yeah, maybe we should trade one of our top prospects because we have no clue what they're going to do in the big league. So let's get, a proven guy who we know who can pitch. And same with, if you remember too, I think we were linked to Tarek Skubal as well. I think they wanted like Jackson Holiday. You're telling me you wouldn't give up Jackson Holiday for Skubal?
I would have. Well, Skubal's gonna be a free agent, and we probably wouldn't have brought him back.
Yeah, we need to just, we need an ace. We haven't. Who's the last ace the Orioles have had? Like long term, not like a Corbin Burns. Who's the last long term ace we've had?
Messina.
Exactly.
That was in the 90s.
Yeah, that's 30 years ago. So
barely alive when he was pitching. Yeah. So
this has always been the Orioles' problem. It is nothing new. We even moved the fence back to be like, hey, pitchers, look at us. You're not going to give up as many bombs. Come pitch here. No pitchers want to come to Baltimore.
It's always been like that. Hitters have been like, Miguel Tejada, come on down. We've been able to sign hitters at a decent amount. And, it's guys want to come play here and hit bombs. But yeah, as long as we've been alive.
Like Mark Trumbo back in the day, we've had no issue bringing in. Yeah, like no issue bringing in free agent hitters. It's just pitchers do not want to come. Do not come.
So I don't know if that'll ever change. That feels more of a systemic problem. But this whole offseason, people are like, well, that you can't even blame Elias for not spending any money. He spent whatever $70 million on free agents. It's like, yeah, dude, but like, just because
he spent it.
It's how you spent it. Okay, Morton and Sagano, 15 each. I would like to have both of those back.
Let's sign an outfielder for 3 years, $45 million, who's already had 20 stints on the IL.
Made of General Soreness.
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill, Mr. General Soreness. If you're a teammate of that dude, how do you feel when your body is in pain and he's sitting out because of General Soreness?
Thank you for your service, General. Let's change. We have a couple last things. This story, I've read about it still doesn't make any sense. It is Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker was the engine behind the Cubs offense that had been dominating baseball in the first half. In the first half, Kyle Tucker slashed 280, 384, 499. Dude was killing it. Second half, he's played so bad that his manager, Craig Counsell, said that he's going to ride the bench for a little bit because he needs a reset. He's been, slamming his helmet. He just looks lost out there. And in the second half, he's batting 182. I had this thought, and I don't understand why this isn't everybody's like the prevailing thought. It's like, he's a free agent, like coming up. The Cubs want to bring him back hypothetically. At least I hope they would. He's still one of the best offensive players in baseball, even after his second half struggles. Why would you sit him? You got to let that guy ride that thing out.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe like behind the scenes, like maybe Kyle Tucker went to the coaching staff and was like, "Hey, I need a breather," and now the manager's covering for him. If that's the case, okay, that's understandable. But I'm with you. That's like one of those like there's just dudes you don't bench, especially not your superstar player. Like you play them, they will figure it out. They know what they're doing. Kyle Tucker is not going to bat 182 the rest of his career or the rest of the season for that matter. Like let him figure it out. But if he, like I said, if he went to them and said he needed some time off, then I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally cool with it.
Well, it's so bad that like the Brewers manager, he went on like some radio show, Pat Murphy, and he was like, I think Tucker's hurt. I don't have any info on that, but there's just something looks off to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's because of an injury. And I went back, and I think it was on June 1st. He slid awkwardly into second base and like jammed his he's like one of his fingers on his right hand. Um, so that could be it. This is always the case with big league hitters is that like we as fans can probably pinpoint when they get hurt, but they'll never tell us. Like they'll always either play through it or never admit to being hurt or like, oh, that's not an excuse. It's on me. If you're hurt, you're hurt. Like, I don't know. You could just, it's not weak to say that like I hurt myself and I'm not as good of a player right now.
Exactly. It's not, general soreness. They're trying to play through something.
General soreness.
So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a theory too. He could be hurt. There could be something going on. And if that's the case, that's admirable that he has been trying to play through it. But if it's to the point where it's detrimental to the team, then
yeah,
maybe you got to reassess that.
It's so weird. They should just do what hockey does and say upper or lower body. Just like that way we know, like, we know you're going to play through it. Just like call it something vague and we can keep this thing moving. Just give it some sort of label. Like, hey guys, it's an upper body. I'm still here.
But to your point too, from everything I've seen, like I think the Cubs are going to try to make a move to potentially bring him back next year. So they are just kind of playing these games with him. I can't see why that would be very attractive to him. Like, yeah, this is a team I want to come back to next year.
That's why I'm leaning towards either injury or he asked to sit out because, like, yeah, like if they did this, like if Craig Counsell made this decision for Kyle Tucker, I mean, you just killed any chance you had of bringing him back in the offseason. That's just like he's not coming back.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't like it's like if Aaron Judge has like a bad 2-week stretch. Are you sitting Aaron Judge? If he's healthy, you don't sit him.
You got to let that dog hunt.
Got to let that dog hunt. All right, let's wrap up. I love baseball broadcasters. I have the MLB TV subscription. I bounce around whenever the Orioles are getting their teeth kicked in. I'll flip on some other games, and so I've been pretty well versed in some of these other teams and who they have in the booth. Awful Announcing put out their fan poll. They ranked all 30 baseball broadcast booths from worst to first. Their top 5, and we'll do ours, and we'll talk about some of these. So the Awful Announcing fan voter top 5: Padres number 1, Mets, Giants, Jays, Cubs. That was their 1 through 5. Does that move the needle for you at all? Like, I don't know how you feel about some of these guys they have at the top.
I see it's a lot of teams that I don't really watch too closely. Like I've seen some of the highlights of the Cubs broadcasters. They get pretty lively. Same with Toronto, surprisingly. Like the Orioles play Toronto, obviously, same division. And on the away games, I'll listen to the Toronto broadcast. I actually do like those guys. But yeah, with their top 5, I don't really have any qualms with it. I don't think there was any huge misses in there.
Yeah, the Jays are a sneaky good one with Dan Schulman, who used to do Sunday Night Baseball. So I'm a little biased just because I used to love. It's like Dan Schulman, John Kruk, and Kurt Schilling, I think, was the booth. I was like, God, these guys rock. So I made my own top 5. This is personal to me. I don't give a shit if you agree with it or not. This is my personal top 5 broadcast booths in baseball. My number 5, I have the Mets. Their director, he's like a cinematography like nut. It's John DeMarcico. He makes things look like a movie. So, and I, Gary, Keith, and Ron have been together for so long that I never have any problems flipping on a Mets game randomly in the middle of the day. Number 4, Tampa Bay Rays. Dwayne Stats, Brian Anderson. Brian Anderson is one of the most underrated good color commentators in the game. I learned so much from flipping on a Rays game and having him talk ball. And Dwayne Stats has been there since 98, so dude's a legend. Number 3, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. John Kruk is there's I he's must see television. Anytime he's in the booth with Tom McCarthy, who's a great guy, by the way. Like my favorite quote, I don't even know where this came from. John said, "If I ever become vegan, would you just punch me in the face as hard as you can?"
John Kruk is a liability. Like for the owner of the team, for all your, whoever oversees the booth, like, dude's definitely a risk. Like, you have to be nervous when that guy's on the air.
I think he told a story one time about like he was playing ball in like this, I don't know, maybe in like a winter league or something, and it was
In
like
Mexico, yeah.
Mexico, and it was like a prisoner. He's
Yeah.
like he
Wasn't
burned a
even wearing
family.
veterans gear. Yeah.
He burned a family alive or something. I need to find that story and dig that up. My dad sends that to me like a couple times a year because it goes viral. But so that's my number 3 booth. My number 2 booth is the Orioles. Kevin Brown, Ben McDonald, they are legit funny. And then Jim Palmer's been doing it for decades. So like I always learn something. I always love a good like Earl Weaver story from Jim Palmer in the booth. My number 1, this might be controversial. It's the Cincinnati Reds. It's John Sadak. It's Cowboy Jeff Brantley. Like John Sadak has one of the best big game voices. Like you flip on a Reds game, it sounds like it's game 7 of the World Series, the way he calls it with such passion. And you could just tell he lives and breathes baseball. Also shout out John because he does college football in the fall too, which I'm so excited about. And Cowboy is fantastic. Cowboy is, again, one of the most underrated good color commentators. So I love whenever they're paired up. I always learn something. That's how you can tell like a hallmark of a good booth is like you're entertained and you learn something. Like it's pretty simple.
I'm a big fan of the former players as broadcasters. So for me, the only thing I would change about your list, like, I think the Mets booth is the best in baseball. I think between Keith, between Rod, it's like the perfect amount of listening to their stories, their experience. Like they've known each other for freaking 4 decades now, so they're having a good time. Like in my opinion, I think the Mets booth is like the gold standard. And I really love the beef they had with the Yankees booth earlier in the year. I enjoy that.
There's so many like a top 5 is hard because I had some other ones that I tried to find ways to work them in there. Honorable mentions: the Tigers booth. Jason Benetti is the GOAT.
Yep. They're one of my
Um,
favorites too. I like their calls,
the
especially when
pod.
Strubal's on the mound.
Oh yeah,
Hype them up.
I like the Padres booth. I watch them. I've watched them for a while now. Don Orsillo. Um, I flip if it's 10 p.m. and I'm still awake. I will use the MLB TV to flip on Don and Mudcat Mark Grant. But there's so many good booths, but there's also so many booths in baseball that, dear God, it's not great.
Hello,
It's not.
Brent
Well,
Rooker.
the 30th ranked Athletics in this poll, probably deservedly so. The Yankees, I think, were like 23rd. How about the Kansas
I
City Royals with their broadcast equipment sounding like it's from the 70s and a ham radio?
Well, they like to keep the money on the field.
Dude, I don't know. There's been a problem for decades with the Royals is that like their home broadcast, it sounds like it's a walkie talkie. Like, how has nobody fixed that?
A team like not Oakland, the Athletics or the Royals, like I don't want to fault them too much on their booth because they're small market teams. It's probably not a priority for them. I will die on the hill that I think the New York Yankees, with just specifically Michael Kay, I think he is the most insufferable broadcaster in all of baseball. Like, I have never seen a broadcaster talk more crap on opposing players in my entire life. And the best thing is, whenever he talks crap on like a hitter, they typically hit like a homer in a big spot in the same game, and he just silence in the booth. Like I freaking love it every time. He just needs to learn how to just shut his mouth.
It's so good. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like you remember Bob Costas during the ALDS? I think it was last year or maybe 2 years ago. Just Oh, that guy talks so much junk up there. Um,
He's pointing to the heavens, to
oh,
what
the
we can
Pedro
only
Strop
assume.
clip. Yeah.
What,
What?
Bob? What, Bob? Dude.
Oh, dude, uh, this is how you know we're locked into ball is that you still like you watch enough of other teams' booths to have like you know who's good and who's not. I think that's the ultimate sign of ball knowing.
Well, I mostly know who's not good from TikTok clips. Like, I mean, like, and then let's be real, like the athletics broadcasters are getting clowned on TikTok on the regular. So I mean, we know that. But yeah, you flip around enough, you hear the same people. You're like, oh, I recognize this guy. Yeah, like listening to him. So yeah, you pick up on who's got the better boost, who's
Yeah.
kind of subpar, I would say.
I I also like the Braves, Brandon Gaudin. He had that clip where he was like Mastroboni to Johnson to Hand or something. He just made a jerking off joke. So some of these guys, they're guys being dudes up there, and I always appreciate it. But I was trying to see if there's anybody else. The Brewers have another sneaky great one. They got another Brian Anderson, not the Rays Brian Anderson, but he does the TBS games in the playoffs. So like, there's some guys that like if you watch some big games, you could see some familiar faces. But um, what do you think
When
about the
some of
O's though?
the networks specifically, like when I love the O's booth, but like some of the networks, like when Fox does their broadcast and stuff, like great booths. Who's the one that's got like Smoltz on there? Is
Joe
that Fox?
Davis, yeah, that's Fox.
Yeah, yeah, like incredible. I can dig that all day. Orioles super underrated booth. Honestly, of the Orioles booth, Jim Palmer is probably my least favorite out of all of them. I think Ben McDonald's the goat,
Yep.
and yeah, I think they got a good crew. Makes it exciting. Wish they had a better team to broadcast this year.
But that was the thing, even with when they were bad. Like I'd still flip on to hear Gary Thorne. Like
And
sometimes, like
Pujols is retarded.
sometimes you just want to hear guys talk with like some low mumbling ambient sounds, just like talk about baseball. Like the score is
Yeah.
regardless. Like they're down by 10, of course, but like sometimes you just want to hear some of the stories of legends of the game. But um, yeah, there's just so many great ones out there. But this has been great. Um, thanks as always. We'll see you in a month. Talk some postseason upcoming baseball in September as teams head down the stretch there. But great talking ball as always.
You as well. I'm looking forward to the playoff push.